who could even begin to talk about the show without putting a spotlight on this episode? This episode flipped audiences on their heads by having our group search for Carol's daughter Sophia end tragically. I also should just mention, now that we're in Season 2, we do get the introduction of one of my all-time favorites, Maggie Green. This episode has our group on edge after learning that Herschel's barn is full of walkers. The Shane and Rick conflict in this episode is so good. It's one of my favorite parts of Season 2 as a whole.
We can make it safe.
How are we gonna do that?
We will, okay?
How are we gonna make it safe,
okay?
Rick? No, man, it's not okay, Rick.
Lori's pregnant.
Shane eventually hits his bowling point in this one, after seeing Rick helping Herschel bring a walker he once knew back to the barn. Thus, Shane opens the barn and the group lays waste to the walkers. But in the final moments, it's little Sophia who stumbles out of the barn after all this time. It's tragic, and the image of Carol on the ground crying as Daryl consoles her as Walker Sophia approaches is one of the most iconic shots of the show's history. Where you have the Rick and Shane conflict, another element I enjoy in this one is the Dale and Shane conflict. I really love Dale's rebuttal to Shane's threats and smart remarks. It really shows despite his age and physical stature, he's got Shane all figured out.
I may not have what it takes to last for long, but that's okay. At least I can say, when the world goes to shit, I didn't let it take me down with it.
Glenn and Maggie, throughout some on-again, off-again problems in this episode, have finally made up, and their romance is just so sweet. I wanted to point that out. Scott Wilson as Herschel is incredible. I really miss that guy. You'll hear me talk about him more in future episodes, but it'll never emphasize how great of a man he truly was. For a mid-season finale episode, it had the shocks and surprises. This episode also really changed the game because in the comics, Sophia lives. She survives the entire run of the comics, so this was just a massive blow to the comic fans. A huge shock, and it worked in the show's favor completely.